Everyone told Marcus Webb he was getting the deal of a lifetime. And maybe he was. A 4-bedroom colonial in Harlow Creek for $63,000 under market value. Good bones, the realtor said. Mature neighborhood. Quiet street. Marcus didn't ask too many questions. 34. Recently divorced. Savings account bleeding out. You don't interrogate a miracle. You sign the papers and say thank you. The previous owner, Gerald Foss, showed up to the closing looking like a man attending his own funeral. Pale. Hands that wouldn't stay still. Eyes that kept drifting toward the floor like something beneath it had his attention. Marcus noticed. Didn't mention it. But when Gerald pressed the keys into his palm, their fingers touched, and the old man leaned in close enough that Marcus could smell something on him. Something old, like church pews and turned soil, and whispered, "The basement. There's a door. Don't." Marcus laughed nervously. Don't what? Gerald was already walking away. The first week was normal. Boxes, takeout containers. The slow, satisfying ritual of making a space yours. Marcus painted the living room a warm gray, hung his daughter's drawings on the refrigerator for the weekends she'd visit. Started sleeping better than he had in years, which he found strange, given the size of the silence in a house that big. Then he found the door. He hadn't fully explored the basement yet. It was unfinished, concrete floors, bare bulbs, smelled like cold metal and old earth. He'd been using it for storage, but on a Thursday evening, moving boxes along the far wall, he saw it. A door. Heavy oak. Black iron hinges. A deadbolt that looked older than the house itself. And beneath it, the faintest thread of warm amber light. Marcus stood there for a long time, box still in his arms, heart doing something complicated in his chest. He went back upstairs. He called Gerald Foss. Gerald answered on the first ring, like he'd been waiting. "You found it," the old man said. Not a question. Marcus paced his kitchen, phone pressed hard against his ear. "Gerald, there's a door in my basement, a locked door, with light coming from underneath it." He paused. "I need you to explain that to me right now." The silence on the other end lasted long enough that Marcus checked to see if the call had dropped. "There's a tenant," Gerald finally said. "Has been for a long time. The arrangement came with the house. Lifetime lease. Completely legal, I promise you. It's in the deed documentation, subsection 4, the one your lawyer probably skimmed over." He coughed. "They don't make trouble. They keep to themselves. The rent comes on the 1st of every month. Slipped right under the door." Marcus stopped pacing. "Someone lives down there? They have everything they need? That's not what I—" "Gerald, how long has this been going on?" Another pause. Longer this time. "Since before my family owned the house. We inherited the arrangement. Same as you have now." His voice dropped. "Just leave them alone, Marcus. Leave the door alone. Cash the checks and live your life. That's all you have to do. That is all you have to do." The call ended. Marcus pulled out the deed documentation that night. All 90 pages of it. His lawyer had skimmed it. Everyone had. Because on page 71, subsection 4, in language so formal it felt carved rather than typed, was a tenancy agreement. Indefinite term. Full occupancy rights. Rent. $400 monthly, adjusted for nothing, ever. Marcus's hand started shaking when he reached the date. The lease was dated March 3rd, 1823. The house was built in 1952. He read that sentence 4 times. Then he got up, walked to his kitchen sink, and splashed cold water on his face. Stood there dripping, staring at his own reflection in the dark window. Something in the basement shifted. He heard it clearly. A slow, deliberate movement, like furniture being rearranged. Then, silence again. Marcus did not sleep that night. The check arrived on the 1st of the month, exactly as Gerald promised. A plain white envelope. No return address. Slipped perfectly beneath the basement door, sitting on the concrete floor when Marcus came downstairs at 6 a.m. His name written on the front in careful, deliberate cursive. He almost didn't open it. Inside, a check. $400, drawn on a bank Marcus Googled immediately. The bank had closed in 1987. The account number returned nothing. The signature on the bottom was dark brown and slightly raised, the way ink gets when something thicker than ink dries slowly. Marcus held it up to the kitchen light for a long time. He didn't cash it. He told himself he was fine. He was a rational man. There was a logical explanation. Eccentric previous tenant, old legal quirk, probably some hermit down there who'd been grandfathered into some bizarre arrangement. Marcus was a paralegal. He understood strange legal language. He would figure this out. He was still telling himself this on the night of October 14th, when he woke at 2:47 a.m. to the sound of children laughing. He sat up in bed, completely still. It was coming from below, from the basement. Clear as anything. High, bright laughter, the kind children make when they're chasing each other, when the game is good and the night feels endless. More than one voice. Maybe three, maybe more. Rising and falling, playful and completely, utterly wrong. Marcus's daughter was 8 years old and she was at her mother's house across town. He grabbed his phone, stood at the top of the basement stairs in the dark for what felt like an hour. The laughter continued, occasionally dropping to excited whispers, then rising again into that terrible, joyful sound. He went down. The closer he got to the door, the colder the air became. His breath appeared in front of him. The amber light still glowed beneath the door, steady and warm, contradicting the cold completely. He raised his fist. Knocked 3 times. The laughter stopped instantly. The silence that followed was the loudest thing Marcus Webb had ever heard in his life. Then, from directly on the other side of the door, so close that whatever it was had to be pressed right up against the wood, he heard breathing. Slow, patient, ancient, and then a voice. Low and even and terribly, terribly calm. You shouldn't have knocked. Up the stairs, out the front door, into his car, sat in the driveway at 3 a.m. in his bare feet and pajamas, engine running. Hands locked around the steering wheel, going absolutely nowhere, because where do you go when the thing you're running from is inside the thing you own? He called Gerald the next morning. Gerald didn't answer. He drove to Gerald's apartment. The neighbor told him Gerald Foss had moved out 3 days after selling the house. No forwarding address. Left most of his furniture behind. Left in a hurry, the neighbor said, rubbing her arms like the memory chilled her. Like he just needed to be gone. Marcus hired a lawyer. The lawyer reviewed the deed, reviewed the subsection, went quiet for a very long time, and then told Marcus, carefully, that the tenancy agreement appeared to be, inexplicably, impossibly, entirely binding, airtight. He'd never seen language like it. Couldn't find grounds to contest it. Recommended Marcus simply honor the arrangement. The second check arrived on the 1st of November. Same envelope, same careful cursive, same dark signature that Marcus now couldn't look at directly. This time there was something else inside. A folded note, crisp and yellowed, like aged paper, though it hadn't been there when the envelope was sealed. He was certain of that. 3 sentences, written in that same terrible brown ink. We know you knocked. We forgive you. Do not do it again. Marcus Webb still lives in the house on Harlow Creek. The checks come every month. He cashes them now, found out quickly that not cashing them makes the night significantly worse. He's repainted the living room. His daughter visits on weekends, and she loves the house, though he's told her the basement is off limits and installed a second lock at the top of the stairs, one only he has the key to. He tells himself it's fine. He tells himself there's a logical explanation he simply hasn't found yet. But some nights, quiet nights, when the house settles and the world goes still, he hears it again. That laughter, drifting up through the floorboards, light and free and hideously joyful. And lately, he's noticed something new. Sometimes in the morning there are small footprints in the dust at the top of the basement stairs, on his side of the door. They were never just below. They never needed the door at all.